The following is a sample from the New York Open Center's podcast series. You can see our website for full program ordering details.
Intuition is, let's differentiate it from the intellect. When we use our intellect, we're using something called, most of us are taught this in probably junior high school, critical thinking. What is critical thinking? Well, let's say our job is to write a paper in a classroom, and we're to write a paper on the description of this lectern. How would we describe this? How would we explain this? How would we make this real in someone else's imagination through writing? Well, what we would do is we would take the object that is being observed and the observer and separate it. That's called being objective, right? We separate ourselves from the object being observed. And the idea in that particular philosophy is that if I'm separate from the object that I'm observing, then I'm going to be more objective and I'll get more of an idea of what it looks like, so I can see it from all angles and thus describe it from all angles and learn what it is by being objective. That's the intellect. Critical thinking, objective thinking. Is anyone sitting in that chair?
Yes. Yeah.
Did it? Okay. May I borrow it for a minute? Okay, great. Sorry. Okay. I'd like to tell you a little story, and this is a true story about what happened to me. Many years ago, when I was in my partying phases in college, a friend of mine who is in an intuitive development class and went to the same school that I did was also going to medical school. And we went out on a Saturday night and got home finished about 4 in the morning. Most of you can probably relate to this, right? So we decided to go out to breakfast, and by the time I got home it was 5:30 in the morning. On the way out of this particular establishment, I accidentally twisted my ankle and I landed on the side of it. And I could hear a creaking sound like a knuckle cracking, like this. And it hurt, but I had so much to drink I wasn't feeling any pain. So the next morning I woke up, it was Sunday morning. I'm sorry, I'm borrowing your chair if you just sit there for a moment. I woke up in excruciating pain. I called my friend who's a med student, and I said, what should I do? He said, well, go to the emergency room. You probably sprained your ankle or something. So I could hardly walk on it. It was swollen. It was black and blue in the morning. At the time I was upstate, and so I drove my car to the emergency room on Sunday morning, and it was packed. It was like a zoo. I don't know what happens on Saturday nights in most places, but emergency rooms are zoos on Sunday mornings. I got there, and every seat was taken in the emergency room. And I had to hop across a parking lot, 2 of them actually, because one of them was packed and I had to park in the outside parking lot. And I'm like this, every so often resting. And I run about 3 miles a day, 4 times a week. So for me, it wasn't a big deal to hop across a parking lot, at least 2 of them.
That was a sample from the New York Open Center's podcast series. You can see the full program ordering details at our website, opencenter.org.